Mystery spot. My name is Riley. I'm going to be your tour guide today. How is everybody doing? A little bit of history behind the mystery. So it all started in 1939 when a man by the name of George Prather wanted to buy this lot land over here to build a summer home for he and his wife. But the log, sometimes by just a couple of degrees, but we've seen them go up to 180 degrees off, changing north to south, south to... Thank you for being the only person paying attention, sir. Now, the third thing that they found is that this was not occurring all over Mr. Prather's new property. It was in a very specific area. Are inside the mystery spot. Probably pretty mystified, pretty amazed. I get that a lot. Now, you, sir, don't be alarmed, but you're right on the boundary of the mystery spot. You're sitting.
Whoa. Kevin's taller. Rachel's taller.
Probably noticing that I'm leaning a little bit more than I was earlier. We're at about an 11-degree lean right now. Mine's just a little bit more exaggerated because the cabin's going the opposite way behind me. Everybody, the best way to the front of our feet. Oh my goodness. Right, guys? Forces from the center of the mystery spot are what is pushing this billiard ball out of the cabin. But this is where people get a little skeptical. And that's okay. First thing they say is when we put the ball on the groove, that the groove's actually cut like a V. So the ball's going to roll. This little indie film called The Titanic.
Oh.
Yeah, you might have heard of it. Right. You can also be Wonder Woman if you want. You can really do whatever you want when you're up here. My one request, so when you're taking photos in the mystery spot cabin, there's one common mistake. Consider yourself a professional jumper. Work here for 2 years to become a professional jumper. Pretty flat here. Now guys, this is a pendulum, not a lame, I promise. But just walk on the sides of your feet and then you really won't need the railing at all. This is your opportunity knowing that our lean should change if we step off of it, right? If the floor was truly causing lean, but it doesn't. The only thing that changes is the direction that your feet are in. So
Yeah.
That's been a great picture.
you're smiling. I might need help.
我就要爬那个楼梯。你快帮你爸爸拍这个楼梯。我看一下。
Sorry, I'm trying to take your picture, but I'm trying not to.
Feels really weird. Oh, it's like a cat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we get that. I'm gonna make it so that when you see a 90-degree angle, you're gonna see that lean that's created off.
Thank you. It's like you've worked here for 2 years.
It's like I've worked here.
Walk with a lean.
Yes. No, I'm just kidding.
Captain's pose.
Got about 2 minutes left for photos, everybody. Then we're gonna exit out.
Yay! Kevin!
A little dizzying up there, isn't it?
Yeah. That's
Well, I'm sorry I'm so tall, apparently.
It's your fault.
yeah.
That's cool.
You want to hang from it?
Your last photo, we're gonna exit out this way. Everybody have everybody off the bench, please, and just around the fence line once more.
Awesome.
Level down. The bubble actually indicates that this is the far side of the bench. Now on this bench, when you're standing on a downhill slope and you start to walk uphill, in real life, outside of the mystery spot, as you walk up a hill, you're going to start to look a lot taller, right? Here at the mystery spot, as you start to walk up the hill, you actually start to look a lot shorter. When you walk back down the hill, that is when your height is regained. A lot of people say that that's because this roof line here is causing an optical illusion, and we're going to disprove that right now. It's pretty fun. And you can stop. Now guys, if this was an optical illusion, her eyeline would be the exact same by the time she got over here. But as she went up, wah wah. Give her a round of applause. She doesn't have to bow. Now, guys, I have 2 more demonstrations out in the next area. Then we're going to talk about why the mystery spot is the way that it was the way that it was. We'd call it the solved spot, and you probably wouldn't have to pay $5 to park in our parking lot. But we have some theories for you. Now, theory number 1 is that above us, there's a hole in the ozone. It's invisible, but good job trying to see it. Now, that hole could be causing light refraction, an example of which is when you stick a clear straw into a glass of water, it's going to distort what you're seeing through the glass. Maybe that there's a pool of magma as big as the mystery spot that's spinning, but it's spinning in the opposite rotation of the Earth, which could account for those wonky compass changes we talked about at the beginning of the tour. Our third and final theory is actually a local Santa Cruz favorite. Now, it states that the mystery spot is located next to a fault line that may or may not be, or may or may not have a crack in it, which may or may not be releasing a strange gas that we may or may not have been breathing in for the entirety of this tour. Now, what that means for all of us is that we may or may not have just experienced an $8 group hallucination. Pretty good price, guys. Now, with that in mind, I do have something for you before you go, and it is something that is more famous than the Mystery Spot Captain. It's probably the reason why you showed up here today. It is 100% our best form of free advertising, the bumper stickers, right? You can.
That looked like a good one.